Hi there, it's Hank Carr from Fork and Cleaver Farm. I thought I would do a video this morning of the whole system up and running. So this is where it starts, at the tree. We've got our taps in. Tap goes down a drop line to the lateral line, which is this one here. This is the lateral line. We've got an end of line connector here that is just wrapped around the tree and then hooked back onto itself. So that's a tension supported lateral line. We've got, I think, 4 taps in that tree. Then the sap runs along the lateral line over to the main line. And the main line is a 3/4 inch wire supported main line. I'll show you that when we get there. So there is the main line. You can see it's wire supported. So there's a 9-gauge high tension wire on there. The lateral line comes into a saddle. And the saddle has a hole into the main line and seals it so that when the sap comes in, and you can see a bit of sap here, the sap can get into the main line. And then the main line is supported on the trees by girdles, and there's one there. There's one on that birch tree right there. You can see another girdle. So that's what supports the main line as it goes out through the woods, and you can see it run off into the woods there and a few lateral lines going across. So the main line runs up here into my machine room. So there's the final anchor right there, and then it runs up and through the wall right here. So this is the main line coming into the machine room right here, and then this is a vent line for the vacuum pump, and this is a line that goes over to my auxiliary storage tote there. So if we go in here into the machine room. Here we are in the machine room, and everything is up and working. So you can see this is the main line coming in here, and every now and then you'll see a bit of sap come through it. It's pretty slow this morning because it's cold. And the sap runs across here and up into here through this canister filter. That's a fine screen canister filter just to take chunks and bugs out. And then into the releaser. This is the releaser, and you can see there's sap in the releaser here. Runs from the releaser down into the transfer tank. So when this is full, it runs down into the transfer tank. Then the little wacky pump there pumps it up here and into this tote. I've got junk on the top of my tote there. You can see there's a little bit of sap in the bottom of here. It was actually up here last night, and I ran the RO all night and got it down to here. And now it's gone down that extra little bit. On the line it comes over from the pump, you can see there's 2 valves here, one here. So this is the one that comes up to the tote. So there's a valve here and a valve here. If you close that valve and open that valve, the sap goes out through there, out to the second tote. So that's my outside storage. If this one gets full, I can send it outside. Once it's in there, this is a drain here coming from the tote, so I can dump the contents of the tote if I want to. But you'll see it comes out here, and there's a valve so that I can drain it out here. What I do in the spring is I fill this with cleaning solution. I connect that to that, well actually that, and suck the cleaning solution out of the tote, into the releaser, through the releaser, and then back up into the tote. So I just circulate cleaning solution. Then this little valve here goes across into the RO. So it comes up here, there's a little pump down there that gives it its first boost. And there's a little, you can see another fine filter down there. So it comes through the fine filter, through that pump, up to this pump, and then over through these cartridges, down through that one, then that one, then that one, then that one. The water, the clear water comes out here and is pulled by this pump and goes around, and we just send it outside. The concentrate, so the sap with the concentrated sugar in it, comes out here and around here through this valve. So that's a Hycalock. That is a Hycalock pressure relief valve. And I've got it set, it's a little bit high, 140. Turn it down just a little bit. There, we want it right about there. So it comes through that valve and then down across and into this barrel. And this is our concentrate barrel. And if I can pull this out one-handed, there you can see the concentrate going into the barrel there. Now, the rejected water comes out right there. So you can see the rejected water running down there. And then the concentrate goes into the barrel. Now, there's a second barrel back there. And what we've got down here, you can see this valve here is open, labeled crossfeed. So the two barrels are connected together right now. I have so much concentrate. Well, I did this morning. When I started this morning, the concentrate level was up here. So you can see that would overflow this barrel. So I have the two barrels connected together, acting as one. I can separate them so that I can make concentrate in this barrel and super concentrate in the back barrel there. But I'm not doing that right now. So that's my concentrate. Concentrate comes out of there into that bucket through this valve right here. And then into the evaporator, which is right here, busy evaporating. You can see the sap is boiling there. That's a good sign, we're boiling. And the whole system is run by this controller here. So that's the controller. Bunch of switches come in here. These are relays that send power out to a variety of things. And there are switches in the totes. The switches in the tote, you can't actually see them, but that pipe right there that's coming up is an instrument package. And there's a float switch right down in the bottom of this tote. And then here in this barrel, there's a float switch at the top right here and down there at the bottom. And I can probably show you what that float switch looks like. So there it is right there. That's the float switch. So what that does, you can see the RO pumps are running there. When that float switch goes up, the RO pumps turn off. So that pump just turned off. When it goes down, the RO pump turns on. And the way that I do that, there's actually, back in the back of that electrical box there, there's a solid state relay. And you see the light on. When I lift the float switch up, the light goes off and it turns off that outlet. When I let it down, the light comes back on and it runs again. Right? And I've got Wi-Fi there. And the Wi-Fi actually lets this controller here send out signals so that I know what's going on. So I actually have a panel in my office, which is in another building, that shows me what the status of the system is. And the switch is there. So there's a switch in the bottom of this tote. And as long as that switch is up, meaning that there's sap in this tote, the RO system will run. Now here, the bottom float, it lets me know that there's sap in the barrel. The top float, if the barrel gets full, turns off the RO system. The bottom float here, if the bottom float goes down, meaning that there's no sap in the barrel anymore, that turns off the RO system. So the RO system won't run dry and it won't overflow that barrel. And there's a float switch in the top of this tote. When it goes up, it turns off the vacuum pump, which is right there. So if this tote is full, it will stop gathering sap. So it shuts the system down. So this whole system now is automated. And the only thing that I have left to automate is those two valves there, so that if this tote gets full and the one outside isn't full, I can redirect the sap out to there and store it outside. But for now, that's manual. It just shuts the system down and I have to come out and intervene. So that's it. Basically, we've got our evaporator there running. We've got the machine room. All the stuff in the woods is working. So that's what our system looks like. And as my wife Anita describes it, a very expensive hobby. Have a nice day.